To be a boxing writer and a historian both, you have to have a lot of passion. Our next inductee is certainly passionate about what he does, and he has risen to be one of the most respected experts of the sport. He was born in Syracuse, New York in 1949. Did a little boxing as a youth, but actually played some really good football. When he grew up, he moved to San Francisco and worked as an electrical contractor for the U.S. Navy. He also did some litigation consulting. But ever since his teen days, he loved to write and even had some articles published in magazines. His passion for boxing was evident as he followed the careers of fighters like Joe Frazier as he moved through the Olympics and then turned pro. His love of boxing led him to IBRO, also known as IBRO, the International Boxing Research Organization. Its leader at the time, Ralph Citra, invited him in, and the rest is history. Over the last 25 years, he's written 100 articles on boxing. He did so with a wide interest, looking at the bigger picture of boxing. When it came time to do his book, Uncrowned Champions, he sought the help of J.J. Johnson and focused on the relationship between boxing and the U.S. military. He also, in the book, took an interest in black history. So he strived to write a book that would cover both topics. He's also very proud of his photography work in California, his work with the great Bob Carson, and he also wants to give credit, I'm sure, to his editor-in-chief, his wife, Anita Isabel. 36 years, by the way, next month. He moved to the position of vice president of IBRO, and he has worked tirelessly to dig up facts and stories that were previously unheard and unknown. That passion and dedication has led him here today. And on a personal note, he's one of the few people that's been inducted into the Florida Boxing Hall of Fame and spent most of the entire weekend actually working. What a credit to his sport and the Florida Boxing Hall of Fame. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming to the Florida Boxing Hall of Fame, class of 2014, writer and historian Don Cogswell.
Why haven't you seen it? All for you, body and soul.
Yeah, that's sweet.
I spend my
I haven't kicked the
days
model class this time.
and I'm and wondering why.
If you didn't recognize that music, that's Body and Soul. I requested that with Jimmy in mind. Jimmy Williams. Being a boxing historian and going into the Florida Boxing Hall of Fame, as Bob mentioned earlier, you touched the hem of immortality. That means so much to me. It's one of the great moments in my life. I have so many people to thank. Kathy Flansburgh, her number one assistant Butch, Steve Canton, as mentioned earlier, my editor-in-chief, Anita Isabel. And I probably wouldn't get any of the pieces, none of the books out without her. All my Florida boxing friends, so many in the Florida Boxing Hall of Fame. Ramiro Ortiz graciously gets us all together at his house for a big pay-per-view fight. The place is filthy with Florida Boxing Hall of Fame inductees. I won't name them all, but it's, to me, I'm in heaven. I'm in pugilistic heaven when I'm there. I want to thank the Bagley family for coming down from Fort Rucker. He'll be in my next book. Terrific guy in the military. His wife Amanda. I want to thank my son coming down from the Philadelphia area, Ryan and his wife Brandy, and my two wonderful granddaughters. So much to thank, so many to thank. And I could go on, but I just want to say one other thank you.
Yeah.
A few years ago, my mother was dying. And my father, who I thought I had a good relationship with, suddenly went south. And we were estranged after she died for a couple of years. And I'd asked my brother, and he said, no, things haven't changed. And my father made it impossible for me to talk to him. He was in his late 80s. He was in good health, but in the late 80s, I mean, we're all going to go at some time, and I did not want my father to die with us having this relationship. But I didn't really know how to breach that.
Kudos.
When I got the call from Butch, I had the reason. I called him. I'm gonna have to keep it short, but it all worked out. I was able to call him every couple of weeks. It was all positive. And within a couple of months, my dad had a very short illness and died. Thank you so much, Florida Boxing Hall.